Hello everybody, hope you are doing well. Today we are going to start with a new lesson, Listen to Poverty, Part 1. Our objectives today are to explain what the writer implies or means by a quotation and identify the sentence pattern of some sentences. Let's start with sentence pattern. The main types of sentence pattern are contrast, cause-effect, time order or chronological order, listing, comparison, comparison contrast, exemplification, and definition. We already talked about contrast and cause effect. Today we are going to talk about time order or chronological order and listing. Sometimes writers mention an incident or incidents arranged according to time, or they tell us what happens or what happened using a series of incidents according to time. At this point, we conclude that the sentence pattern of that sentence is time order or chronological order. And remember, they use clue words that signal time. For example, first, second, next, now, then, while, after, later, before, so far, today, tomorrow, yesterday, last night, etc. Time order or chronological order. We say that the sentence pattern of a sentence is time order or chronological order when there is an incident or there are incidents mentioned arranged according to time. Clue words could be first, second, next, before, then, while, after, later, so far, today, tomorrow, yesterday, last night, etc. Sometimes writers mention three or more things in a sentence or three or more actions in the same sentence. At this point, we conclude that the sentence pattern of this sentence is listing. Again, we say that the sentence pattern of a sentence is listing when the writer mentions three or more things or three or more actions. Let's identify the sentence pattern in each of the following sentences. Number 1. We get up every day with the hope that our participation can bring about change. Here we have this clue word, which is every day, and it signals time, so we conclude that the sentence pattern is time order. Number 2. Internet addiction is the most common type of technology addiction nowadays. Again, we have this clue word nowadays, which signals time, so we conclude that the sentence pattern here is also time order. Number 3. It is going to be nice having nothing to do but enjoy our time this afternoon. Here we also have another word that signals time, which is afternoon, so we conclude that the sentence pattern is time order. Number 4. For children, cosmetic surgery is the best option for improving physical appearance, breathing, and speech. Here the writer mentions three things, which are physical appearance, breathing, and speech. So we conclude that the sentence pattern in this sentence is listing. Number 5. Fat removal can reduce the risk of diabetes, improve the patient's blood pressure, and lessen the risk of heart problems. Here, the writer mentions 3 actions, and they are reduce, improve, and lessen. So we conclude that the sentence pattern is listing. Number 6. Plastic surgery can relieve neck, back, and shoulder pain. Again, the writer mentions 3 things. They are neck pain, back pain, and shoulder pain. So we conclude that the sentence pattern is listing. New vocabulary: stench, peaty, privy, rotting, chronic. Stench. It's a strong and very bad smell. Pity. The feeling of sorrow due to the suffering of others. Privy. Outdoor toilet. Rotting. Smelly, decaying, spoiled. Chronic. Continuing or occurring again and again for a long time. Before we start with our lesson, listen to poverty. We would like to ask the following questions. What are the causes of poverty? How does poverty influence or affect people's lives and behavior? We can also ask the following questions throughout the selection. How is poverty described in the selection, of course, by the writer? What impact or effect does it have on people's spirit, mind, or character? But first of all, let's see how the writer defines poverty. You ask me what poverty is. Here I am, dirty, smelly, with no proper underwear on, and with the stench of my rotten teeth near you. I will tell you, listen to me. Listen without pity. I cannot use your pity. Listen with understanding. Put yourself in my dirty, worn-out, ill-fitting shoes, and hear me. The writer starts her selection by addressing the audience or readers directly. She's ready to explain what poverty means if any of the audience asks for the answer. She implies that poverty is looking and smelling awful. It's being dirty, smelly, having no proper or suitable underwear, and having very bad smell of teeth. She asks the audience to listen to understand her, but not to feel sorry for her, because sympathizing with her won't change anything. That is, feelings won't change her bad situation and condition of living. Finally, she asks readers and listeners to imagine being in her situation so that they can understand the bad situation and conditions she's living in. Let's find out what human rights are being violated, according to the writer. Poverty is getting up every morning from a dirt and illness-stained mattress. The sheets have long since been used for diapers. Poverty is living in a smell that never leaves. This is the smell of urine, sour milk, and spoiling food, sometimes joined with the strong smell of long-cooked onions. Onions are cheap. If you have smelled this smell, you would not know how it came. It is the smell of the outdoor privy. It's the smell of young children who cannot walk the long dark way in the night. It is the smell of the mattresses where years of accidents have happened. It is the smell of milk which has sour, because the refrigerator long has not worked and it costs money to get it fixed. It is the smell of rotting garbage. I could bury it, but where's the shovel? Shovels cost money. The writer continues explaining what poverty means according to her own experience. She claims that poverty is sleeping on a dirty mattress and getting up every morning from it. The sheets also dirty and being used as diapers. She claims that poverty means always living smelly. It's the smell of urine, sour milk, spoiled food, together with the strong smell of onions. It seems onions are bought by the poor because they are cheap. Then she continues talking about the smell of the privy or outdoor toilet, then the bad smell of the mattresses because children have used them for years instead of the privy, since there is a long way to get there at night. She continues explaining that poverty means the smell of sour milk because there is no refrigerator to keep it, nor money to fix it. It's also the smell of spoiled garbage. She claims that she would bury it, but there is no money to buy a shovel to do that because shovels cost money. Let's find out what other human rights are being violated according to paragraph 3. Poverty is always being tired. I have always been tired. They told me at the hospital when my last baby came that I had chronic anemia caused from poor diet, a bad case of worms, and that I needed a corrective operation. I listened politely. The poor are always polite. The poor always listen. They don't say that there is no money for iron pills or better food or worm medicine. The idea of an operation is frightening and costs so much that if I have dared, I would have laughed. In paragraph 3, the writer still continues talking about her own experience as a poor person by explaining what poverty means according to her. She believes that being poor means always living uncomfortable and that she has always been tired. Then she moves to talk about her health condition. She has chronic anemia due to lack of healthy food, which means she isn't a healthy individual. And she also has a bad case of worms. Then she started to talk about her character. She considers herself as a polite person and considers all the poor as polite too. She adds that the poor always listen and never complain about money or buying medicine or having good food. She also confesses that undergoing an operation is so frightening and expensive that if she had known at that time, she would have laughed. Questions. Question number 1. What does the writer imply or mean when she says the poor always listen? This quotation is found in paragraph 3, so you have to explain or to find out what the writer means by this. Number 2. Identify the sentence pattern in each of the following sentences. Is it listing or time order? A. Sentence 2 of paragraph 1. B. Sentence 2 of paragraph 2. C. Sentence 4 of paragraph 2. D. Sentence 8 of paragraph 2. Good work.